This video is meant to walk you through how to make a frequency chart, like a histogram, in Excel to 2013. Okay, so first, before we begin, a couple things with the videos. But when you are doing this activity, I suggest to split screen your windows. So to do that, unmaximize the windows. You can either go over here or you can just double click on the banner, and then if you have Windows 7, you should grab the window that you're working in and then just drag it all the way to the left, and it'll make it so that it kind of clicks or sticks to the right or to the left side of the window. And then same thing with the other window. So have your video in one and the Excel worksheet in another. Okay, now to do this, we're just going to go through and follow these steps. So the first step is to determine the minimum and maximum values from the range of cells. To do that, I am going to set up two cells in my Excel worksheet to be min and max. Okay. Then, once I have this done, I needed to determine the min or max for the respective variable. So here the variable is inches. So to determine the minimum, the command in Excel to do this, rather than searching through the entire thing, is equals min in all caps. And when you do this, the function will pop up. You can either double click it, or what I like to do is I just tab over. And now this next stuff that appears is the syntax, the stuff that Excel needs in order to do the command or compute the value for us. So this says, okay, select all the numbers. So I need to select the inches over here, and I need to select all the values. So I'm just going to click, keep my mouse depressed, and drag all the way down, and then release it once I get to the very bottom. Okay, and now during this video I will try to make intentional pauses in case you need to pause the video and kind of go back and see what we just did. Okay, and then now once you have it all in there, you can either enter parentheses or not. It doesn't matter to Excel at this point. And so I have a parentheses in there, and I'm just going to hit enter to compute that value. So the minimum is 60, and if you scroll through, you can see that. Okay, maximum, very similar. I'm going to do equals max. Okay, and again it pops up. I can tab over to insert it. And then again, this is asking for a set of numbers. So I'm going to click on inches and keep my mouse depressed and drag down over all the entries under the inches variable, and then just enter. Okay, so step 1 is now complete. Step 2 in blue says to set up a table with bin and frequency as a column heading. So that's easy enough. I can do bin and frequency. Okay, and now my bins need to go from my minimum value to my maximum value. Okay, so I can start typing in 60, 61, 62, and I'm going to stop here because I don't want to have to type it all in. So Excel actually has a nice built-in feature where it will fill in everything automatically for you if you give it the right amount of information. So usually 3 is enough for Excel to determine a pattern. To go up to 75, click on 60, keep your mouse depressed, and drag over until the 62 is highlighted. Okay, now in the lower right corner you see this little box. Okay, if you hover over it, your cursor changes from a white cross to a black cross. When it switches to a black cross, click and keep your mouse depressed and drag down, and you'll notice that the value changes 66, 67 as you drag down. So this will be the values that it computes up to, and I need to drag down till I get to 75, and then release, and it'll fill in those values for you. Okay, so I made the bins. Okay, so that's step 3. Step 4 says to highlight the range of cells that will contain the frequency. So here in our table we set it up right next to the bins. So I'm going to highlight these. Okay, so click and drag over these cells. Okay, now step 5 is a little misleading. You actually don't need to select the select the first cell. You can actually just type in equals frequency and tab over. And now the syntax here is to do the data array. So this is from the original data set, everything that you want to bin. So we're binning inches. So I need to select the inches again. Okay. And I need to scroll back up. And then comma. I'm just following the syntax that it's saying here. So bins array, or data array, and now it's asking for the bins. And my formula is kind of in the way of my last value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at 75, click and hold and drag over 61. And remember, we started up at 60, so it actually you have to drag over where your formula is appearing. And then release. I can include a parentheses if I want. Okay, so I did 6 and I did 7. Now, number 8, I have to press Control, Shift, and Enter simultaneously. So what I need to do, press and hold Control, then press and hold Shift, and then once you're all done, press Enter, and then release. And so now what this is our frequency value. So this says, okay, for example, if I go through this list and I'm looking at 64, there are 8 64s appearing in this list. Okay, so this is pretty much done with the frequency table. We can make a frequency chart, and to do that, just highlight your frequencies, i.e. your dependent variable. In this case, go to Insert, and then in the chart section of the ribbon, a histogram really is a column chart, so we can click on that and insert a 2D column graph. Okay, and from here, remember that in the quick layout, you can select, I believe it's, gotta find it here. If you go to the third row, third column, layout number 9, that allows you to insert all your labels quickly. And so we can say, well, down here, this is going to be the bins. And notice that it doesn't appear here as you're typing, but it appears in the formula bar. Okay, and if you just hit Enter, it'll appear. Here, this should be the number, the frequency. Okay, again up here. And then this will be the frequency chart for inches. Okay, now the only thing that I have left to do, I'm going to delete the series here, the legend, is to change the axis. To remember to do this, go to Select Data, and what we want to appear in the horizontal axis is actually the bins. So I'm going to go to, in Select Data, I can go to Edit, and then drag over the bins, and hit OK, and OK again. And it'll insert all that for us. Okay, so this would be a complete frequency chart and a complete frequency frequency table. Okay, so again, I recommend just following these different steps, and it'll walk you through how to do it. Otherwise, feel free to rewatch the video and pause when you need to in order to complete the frequency table.